Welcome back to Spirit of the Outdoors. Today we're going to look at the medicinal uses of this little plant called Boneset. This is a powerful plant. I keep some on hand. I do not use it on a regular basis, but when you've got a cold and you're running high fever, a lot of times people misunderstand how fever works. If you're running fever, that is initially a good thing, unless it starts to get too high. Now, if it starts to get above 102, something like that, then you need to start trying to get that fever back down. Fever is your body fighting off a system. So if you take things that boost your immune system, it's going to make that fever worse. This plant here will break that fever, and I have seen it done. My dad was running, got sick when pneumonia, was running 102.3. He'd been running fever a day or so. We decided, hey, we need to get that fever down. One cup full of tea out of this plant of infusion broke that fever. It was down. By the time we got him to the emergency room to see what was really going on, he had no fever. So it is a powerful plant that I have personally seen work. I have got 2 books that have good information. This is Indian Herbology of North America. Very good book. And I'm going to read out of this one here, the Southeast Medicinal Plants. It has some good information in it as well. I may read a little out of both of them, but let me find Boneset in this right here. Here we go. I'm going to lay this book down. So, and the way you identify this plant, it has a very hairy stem. A lot of people confuse this plant with late boneset when they're looking for it, using a plant ID app normally. And late boneset has some of the same uses. You can use late boneset. It is not as powerful as this. This is Eupatorium perfoliatum. So let's look at the medicinal uses, and I'm going to read. This is out of the Southeast Medicinal Herbs book. This book is regional. You can find it for the Northeast, other regions of the United States. So if you're in a different region than the Southeastern United States, you need to find a different book. I'll link this book in my description. Medicinal uses. The most classic use of boneset is for a viral infection with accompanying muscle aches, such as happens with the flu. Boneset is a great antiviral with a long tradition of use for colds and viruses. For this purpose, it is often combined with echinacea or other immune stimulants, though it is specific for viral infections with accompanying muscle aches and other chemical messengers from our own immune system. It can be used for any acute viral infection. So I mentioned a lot of times we take like turkey tail mushroom, things like that to help boost our immune system. This is the one you want if you're already running high fever and it's a problem and you want to help out. This would be the immune system, because it does help the immune system, but not in the same way that some of the other plants do, which would make it stronger. It is also a great diaphoretic. That is when drunk as a hot tea, it will cause a sweat. Sweating is the body's way of releasing heat and cooling off. So this will help lower a mild to moderate fever. For this purpose, boneset is often combined with elderflowers and yarrow flowers. Catnip can be used if there is more agitation, upset stomach, or congestion. In the 19th century, boneset was taken for breakbone fever, as dengue was then called, hence the common name. Fourth generation Southern folk herbalist Phyllis D. Light reports it is also used throughout our region for healing broken bones, and she's seen good success with this use. Boneset is a simple herb that is remarkably effective for what it does. It is a great herb to have around for a simple cold or even a viral pandemic. So this was one you might have wanted 4 years ago when we had a virus that took over the world. I'm going to look right here in this book. Now, the Native Americans did use this. It is widely reported that they used this as a poultice around where broken bones were to heal broken bones. So there is some conflicting information about the name boneset. Some say it was named boneset because of it would break fever to the bone. Some say it is named boneset because the Native Americans used it to heal broken bones. So I want to read a little out of this book as well. The uses and the stuff is pretty well the same. A little bit different information though. It says uses. As is true of other plants, boneset is dual in action depending on how it is administered. That is why I wanted to read out of this book as well. When cold, it is a tonic. When warm, emetic and diaphoretic. As a tonic, it is very useful in remitting fever, intermittent and typhoid fevers, dyspepsia, and general debility. Give the infusion as hot as can be comfortable swallowed, this including perfusion, perspiration, and sooner or later evacuation of the bowels. Likewise, in febrile diseases, catarrh, colds, wherever such effects are indicated, dropsy, imperience, acute chronic rheumatism, bilious fevers, influenza, and especially there is the aching and the bones. Its powers are manifested upon the stomach, liver, bowels, and uterus. It is extremely bitter to taste and disliked by children, but in these cases, a thick syrup of boneset, ginger, and anise is used by some for coughs and for children with good results. It says doses right here. Of the powder form, 10 to 12 grains. Of the extract, from 2 to 4 grains. Infusion, 2 to 4 wine glasses full. So what we are going to do today is we're going to harvest some of this plant. I already have some dry at home. We're going to go make a tincture, probably out of the dried plant. Now there is contradiction out of using dried plant or green plant. You can use either one for that. You have a slightly better success with a dried plant because you can break it up and get a little more surface area to extract from, but you can get just as it's not enough to make a whole lot of difference. So this is boneset. You notice that the stem runs through the leaves. I found one down here and I showed some clips in the beginning in the B-roll. This is a single double leaf that runs across this plant. I'm going to go ahead and harvest this one. I don't know if you can tell right here how the camera looks, but the stem runs through the leaf. It is one single leaf pointed on both ends, and that stem runs through that leaf. Well, down here I found one earlier that has 3 leaves. I have never seen this before. That is a very rare plant, unique. I will harvest it because this plant will come back. So I don't know. I actually have this plant growing right up beside my house where I could go out and pull fresh plant if I needed an emergency situation, but But we're going to take this home, hang this upside down, and dry it for later use so that we have some more on hand. And then we're going to make a tincture out of what we already have. I keep some dried to make an infusion if I need to. You can put this in a mortar and pestle, and I have done that and made a powder, and that is where it's talking about the grains. So let's harvest some of this and make some medicine out of it. So you can see it is late in the year. A lot of this plant is already going away. So I'm not keeping the brown leaves, but you can cut it off. And the reason I said the other plant that I don't know whether I want to harvest or not, it comes back from the roots. All of these leaves are going to die off, and it's going to grow a new stem every year anyway. So I'm probably going to harvest the one down there. But I try to pick some of this brown out because it's not ideal for making medicine out of. And there are some little ones right here on the ground. We're going to get them. So you can see in just a matter of minutes you can have a good bit of this. So y'all, right here is what I wanted you to look at. You see all of these. Now this comes from the same root system. All of these have single leaves except this one. And all the way up is trifolia. It's got 3 leaves. I have never in my life seen a boneset with 3. So this is, for me, very rare. Unique. I don't know what to do with it. I hate to harvest it in a way, and then again, I hate to leave it because I think I'm going to leave it for right now, but it's going to die and be gone here shortly. I have gotten some good footage of it. So the reason I thought about harvesting, I thought about taking it back and trying to preserve, like snip these leaves off and trying to press it. So I may do that. Because it'll put back out next year from the leaves. But I did want you to see this. That is just very unique to me. 3 leaves. Alright, so I got all of my boneset right here. Let me tilt that camera up just a little bit. I'm going to cut me a string right here to hang this up and allow it to dry. Roxanne, she's excited about something around there. Probably a squirrel in my corn I got put up. So what I normally do is put a loop on either end of a string. Well, let me just wrap it like this. And then I just kind of hang it on a nail somewhere. So for right now, for video purposes, I'm just going to hang it right there. We'll put it up shortly. Now this is I'm keeping it separate. Alright, so right here in this, we will have dried plant material here before long for tea. You can make an infusion or tea out of green plant. It is perfectly fine. Really, in my opinion, drying a plant is more for preservation than it is better medicine, but you do get a little more surface area. So I wanted you to see this is still very green. So I have a jar, and I'm just going to do like any other tincture that you have seen us do. We're going to make us a cold medicine. So I'm crumpling this up, and we're going to cram it down in this jar. had some other stuff up there. Now I'm going to cram this jar pretty full. I am not going to just pack it, but we are going to kind of poke it down in there. So y'all, it is good to know that this is, you know, not just a fever breaker, but it is an antiviral. So these viruses that we contract when we go to church and go to school and go to other places, this is what you want to help battle that. Probably more so than some of the flu type stuff. We're going to be making a powerful medicine. So that is probably plenty. You see, I can cram that further down in there, but we don't want to make it too strong. We want to have plenty of room for our medium. So we're going to go ahead and pour this in there. Now this is a 50% alcohol. And we had just enough. We're going to get it all in there. All right. So, we'll put this in our pickle jar. I reckon this pickle. Jalapenos is what that was. And we'll set this in a dark area for 30 days. So we're going to put this in there on the shelf, and in about 30 days, we'll have our medicine made. We'll take it off and we'll bottle it back up just like we do our other tinctures. Make sure you label it good. But now this, y'all, is what's going to help you get over those viruses and help break the fever. It is, I know as an infusion, now this is the first time I have actually tinctured this plant. But I know as an infusion it will break fever. I know that for a fact because I've seen it with my own eyes. So thank y'all for watching Spirit of the Outdoors. Trying to help y'all with a little bit of medicine making. Help you stay well throughout the winter months. Thank you for watching. Remember, the best way to do things is the way you like to do it. We'll see y'all. Y'all have a good one.